Hi BookTube. It's time to make a video, even though tonight I'm feeling kind of wasted. I'm kind of tired. I think I'm still recovering from that bug, that cold, and I don't know. I'm just feeling kind of drained tonight. But I have so many books up here that I want to take down in the lower level where we have our library. Well, books on shelves, books on tables, books on a bed, books on a couch, books on the floor, books just stacked all over down there. I'm going on 8,000 books and I'm running out of room, but I seem to be buying books to the point where I'm going to, by the end of this year, there will be no room to stack anything. I'm going to have to get rid of some books, which will be very difficult because I love my books. I've been thinking about trying to find a way to store them. I'm thinking about buying some plastic bins and like putting in one bin history, in one bin novels, one bin art, one bin books on Europe or the Second World War, and just try to store them in the back room. Like have a bin full of autobiographies. But the problem is, I'm always going through my library trying to find a book that I come across in my reading. So I don't know. What we need is a bigger house. Anyway, so tonight I want to make a video. Tonight is February the 11th, 2017. Is 8:39 at night here in West Michigan. My wife went to work even though she was sick, coughing and feeling very tired, but she has to work tonight and tomorrow night, and then she's off until March. But she's leaving Tuesday afternoon for Phoenix, Arizona, where our daughter with her family are bringing into the world another human being, Jack Stewart. So Carol has to be with our daughter and her family, Andy and Louisa and Margaret, while Beth is in the hospital, and Andy also, as our daughter brings in a living soul into the world. When we were having children, it was always a very mystical experience. Fatherhood is very mystical. Having children is very mystical. It's spiritual, because you're bringing a person into the world who's going to live forever. No one ever dies. Either you go into the into the new creation, or you go into hell. And so it's a very serious thing, having children. Anyway, what I want to talk about is that yesterday, which was a Friday, I finally got the nerve to leave the house. I hadn't left the house in 5 or 6 days, and my wife said, "You have to get out." I was getting kind of freaked. So what I did is I went to the bank and got some money. No, my wife gave me some money, and I went to local thrift stores. There's about three thrift stores just in minutes from where we live. There's Bibles to Mexico, just a couple blocks from where we live, and then 4 or 5 blocks down on the major street is Goodwill, and then there's Action House, which provides clothing and food and furniture for those who are in need, and they sell stuff in the thrift store to support their ministry to those who are in need in our community. I went to Goodwill and I struck gold at Goodwill yesterday. But first I'll show the books I got at Bibles to Mexico. They sell clothing and furniture and all kinds of stuff to support ministry of evangelism in Mexico. They're a Christian Reformed church. But I found there this book at Bibles to Mexico, The Penguin History of the Second World War by Peter Calvocoressi, I don't know, and Guy Wint and John Pritchard. You know, it was only 25 cents. And what else I find there? Oh, let me see. I found this book. I have this book, but I bought it I wasn't sure if I had it because I was looking for, there's one, I can't remember the title of it. There's one other one in this series, and I'm not sure, but it's only a quarter. So I'll take it to the Book Nook. I was going to take it to the Book Nook today, but I forgot. But this is called 1421, The Year China Discovered America by Gavin Menzies. So I got this. And then I went to Goodwill, and that's where I struck gold. For those who watch my videos know that I collect biographies, memoirs, diaries, journals, autobiographies, letters. I like those kinds of things when it comes to nonfiction. And after nonfiction, I like American history, European history, literary criticism, art, the 60s, things like that. Books on postmodernism, modernism, history of Christianity. It just goes on and on. But I like biographies. And that's where I struck gold yesterday at Goodwill. And these are the biographies that I found, all for $4.88. The first biography I got at Goodwill yesterday is called Alice, Prince Andrew of Greece by Hugo Vickers. This, it says here, one of the most overlooked members of the England's royal family, Princess Alice is perhaps one of the most fascinating. Her life bridges the tumultuous history of the 20th century Europe, seems intertwined with the tragedy and glory of every significant achievement and loss of that era. Princess Alice, mother of Prince Philip, was something of a mystery figure even within her own family. She was born deaf at Windsor Castle in the presence of her grandmother, Queen Victoria. We've been watching on PBS that special on Queen Victoria on Sundays. It's really good. Queen Victoria, and was brought up in England, Darmstadt, in Malta. In 1903, she married Prince Andrew of Greece in Denmark, and then on in her life was overshadowed by wars, revolutions, and forced periods of exile. By the time she was 35, virtually every point of stability was overthrown. In the middle years of her life, she suffered from serious religious crises, and at the age of 45 was placed in a sanitarium in Switzerland. Pronounced a paranoid schizophrenic, it seemed that she would never walk free again. How she achieved her recovery is just one of the remarkable aspects of her story. So that really interests me. I don't really buy books on British royalty, but this one really intrigued me, so I bought it. Alice, Princess Andrew of Greece. And then I found a biography of Somerset Maugham called Willie by Robert Calder. I have a big collection of Somerset Maugham's writings, his short stories and novels. And I think I have another biography, but I got this. And then I found Eudora Welty, a biography by Suzanne Mars. We have my wife is really into Eudora Wint, Welty. And so we'll put that with our Ella Ward collection of her short stories and her novels. And so I got that. Eudora Welty, I can't pronounce it. Then I found Vita, biography of Vita, Sackville-West by Victoria Glenning. I have by Victoria Glenning a couple of her biographies. She did one on Trollope, one on, I think, Rebecca West. She did a bunch of biographies. Edith Sitwell and Edith Bowen. But I already had this, but mine was in a small paperback. And I found this yesterday for 60 cents. It's in perfect condition. Doesn't look as good as red. So I'll give this one to the Book Nook, and I don't know, I kind of like her. She was with part of Virginia Woolf and the Bloomsbury group. She was it says here, defiantly independent, eccentric aristocrat, Vita, an impassioned. She wrote novels, prolific writer, a world-renowned gardener. I have a book on her garden. Vita Sackville-West has been characterized as quintessential glitterati, a monster of vitality, and Lady Chatterley and her lover rolled into one. Always a conspicuous element of the Beaumont of early 1900s. Only now in this first full-scale biography is she revealed as one of the most important and strongly influential personalities of her era. From her childhood at Connaught, the vast Sackville estate, her flamboyant and scandalous love affairs with women, Violet Trustfills and Virginia Woolf among them, her highly unconventional marriage to the diplomat Harold Nicholson, and her famous restoration of Sissyhouse Castle. Vita's life is recreated here with compassion, animation, and rare insight. So I got that. I had this old one. Now I got a big one. And then I found this book. It's called Freud and Jung, a dual introduction. The first is written by Freud is by Andrew Storr, and then the one on Jung is written by Anthony Stevens. I collect books by Jung and Freud in our library. And I found this memoir of Lillian Hellman, Unfinished Woman, a memoir. She was a writer, and I think she was a playwright, and so I got that. I don't know much about her, but I'm glad I got it. And then I found this, Noel Coward's Diaries. He was also, I think, a playwright. Noel Coward is best remembered as the most witty and elegant of theatrical personalities. He left behind 50 plays, 25 films, hundreds of songs, and several books. Fortunately, he also left behind these diaries chronicling his last 30 years of his life from 1941 to 1973, moving through the theatrical, political, historical, and above all social worlds on both sides of the Atlantic. The impressive cast of characters include Laurence Olivier, Frank Sinatra, Lauren Bacall, John and Jackie Kennedy, Howard Pinter, members of the royal family, and the Beatles, among a host of others. Here is a captivating chronicle of as stylish and irresistible as the man himself. So those are the biographies I found at Goodwill. That was pretty exciting. And then I went to Action House and found these three books. This is the 12 Caesars which is on the Roman Caesars. This is by Michael Grant. I have 4 books by him. He writes on ancient Rome and so this is on the 12 Caesars, Julius Caesar, Tiberius, Vespasian, and Galba, and Augustus. So I got that. And then I found this biography, Fearful Majesty, The Life and Reign of Ivan the Terrible by Benson Bobrick. And then I found this book, In the Wake of the Plague, The Black Death in the World It Made by Norman C. Cantor. So I got all these books. I spent about $12 for all these books. So it was a good day. It got me out of the house. Found some nice biographies. I love biographies because I'm always keeping a diary. I'm always living in the presence of my birth, my childhood, my adolescence, my teenage years, my 20s, my 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s. And maybe, Lord willing, I'll live into my 70s and 80s and maybe my 90s. Maybe I'll live to be 100. So I like to reading other people's lives as they go through their life cycle, especially writers and poets and playwrights and painters and eccentrics and madmen and bohemians and beats and hippies and dandies and freaks and poor people and just people who are artistic and who seek to live out their lives in this little moment of existence that we have before we face the judgment seat of Christ. So that's what's going on. Today I finished in my diary on page 119. Tomorrow will be February the 12th, which would be a Sunday. I'll be on page 120. Lord willing, the Lord doesn't come back and rapture the church and we go into the eternal state. So so tomorrow starts a new week. We go into the middle of the month. I hope you're having a good weekend. Thank you for the new subscribers. Feel free to ask me any questions. I don't really know much, but hey, I'll try to be honest. I don't have any skeletons in my closet. I seek to be transparent and to, like I said, if you're living in the presence of God, that really shapes how you live your life. So until next time, hope all is well. Bye.